Good evening, everyone. Aesthetic Impact Informational Services. I'm Teresa Frisch, and we have a good group assembled for our target discussion, July 11th, 2012, target 120711, whale watching. And this is, the feedback image is all that you're going to get. There is no text. Don't know where in the world this event is occurring. So we'll look at our sessions and look at the weather and see what kind of indicators people pick up. We could have Lynn Buchanan is with us, our mentor and teacher. And we could look at this target and make some comments about it and then look at the sessions and see what folks got. And again, there's nothing to research insofar as text or history or actual location on the Earth. We just have some gestalts of several biologicals and types of biologicals, several types of man-made, and space, water. Not seeing any land at the moment, but I'm, just for the heck of throwing this out there before we start, I'm, from my computer, seeing 3 whales. One just ahead of the flags, I think I can see its back. And then the big whale hump that you can see, and then a whale blowing behind it. And I'm noticing we have some smoke coming out of the engines on the boat. And beyond that, I think these folks are looking Hispanic. And Lobo Moreno, too, would seem to be Hispanic, so could give us some clues. I've not zoomed in on the photo. Some of you might be doing that just to see, you know, like what the printing is on the back of those vests. So, that being said, Lynn, would you like to comment at all on this target before we get started with the sessions? We have 4.
It's a neat target. It has basically a central focus, and even the people, except for the one guy, are focused on the central point, and it has good activity, it has good color, shapes, sizes, dimensions, you know, that are identifiable, sketches. It has good gestalts. This is a great target.
Thank you. I chose it.
You're good choosers.
Every now and then I do all right. Let's see. Deborah, do you have class tonight? Let me take your mic off. Hi, Deborah.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I do. I have to go at the top of the hour.
Okay. Let me see here. Whoop, that's Russ. And Marco is here. Yeah, Marco's here from the middle of the night in Iceland. So let's see. Deborah, here's your session, and we've got how many pages? I'm just going to go to your summary, and then we can backtrack and look at all the pages if we need to. But is there anything you want to comment on about your session?
Yeah, I think that most of my pages had a bunch of junk on it that don't affect. I mean, I did get a boat later on in water, but I got a whole lot of stuff that was not really applicable. So I'm not too thrilled with this, and I didn't need all these pages really for something that's simple. So I'm not too happy.
And let's see, you took front loading, I think. There was an opportunity for that. Hey,
Yeah.
now look at this, though. So look, you've got all these gestalts, and look, men, not American. Right there. I'm pretty sure these guys are Hispanic. We can zoom in on them, look a little closer. Well, anybody, you know, we don't know what's going on in whoever's running the camera either.
Yeah.
But let's see. I know what it's like to maneuver a boat. I've never maneuvered one in the ocean. I've been on one in the ocean, but those were some swells and some waves. So,
I guess my results are correct. I did get the wheel of a boat. So I definitely got some things, but I just had a lot of other things in here I can't really confirm, I think. I need to look at this a little closer.
I didn't have much of a chance to look at your session, but yeah, I thought you got the wheel of the boat too. Right there, a wheel-like object with spokes that turns, may cause a problem, hard to turn, steering device. Excellent. Involves race against time. What do you guys think about that? If you're whale watching and you're trying to either spot them, find them, or when you do, you know, make the most of the opportunity.
I like the pun in there where she said the man takes the bow.
Very good.
Oh, like I was thinking of like a theatrical bow.
Yeah.
Kind of funny how that comes through, huh?
Yeah.
What we think it is. And then, something won't budge. Extreme hurry, hurry, hurry. Involves two objects, pull like long, one above the other. Seems like they tried to fix something. Didn't work out very well. And then what do you think about this? Things I'm not very confident about, but mentioning anyway. Might involve something sinking under the water like a ship.
It shows that confidence is not necessary in a remote viewing session.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
I like these two pole-like objects, long, one above the other. The two flag masts.
Granted, we just kind of zipped through that. And that's not my intention to short you. Just trying to run through that, and then you guys go ahead and just talk, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I got the guys at the beginning. I'm sorry, there's some feedback. Are you hearing that feedback as I'm talking?
Excuse me, that's Teresa's speaker feeding back through Teresa's microphone.
Oh. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. My bad. It's also, am I having a lot of feedback, or is it my dog barking?
No, you're not having feedback.
Okay.
But when we talk, your microphone picks up our voice from the speakers and feeds it back to us.
I see. Do you want me to mute me?
And then it echoes.
All right. I don't know. I kind of thought it might be pretty cool if those whales were sinking underneath the boat. That she didn't think it was important to mention.
It looked like in this one, there were several points where it looked like she counted the whales as being people as well.
That's what I kind of think was happening at the beginning.
Are you guys going down through her pages? I'm just checking. I just zoomed in on the boat.
We can hit those tabs up at the top, but we can only, like when we hit her tab, we only get the one screen that you have up for her tab.
All right. I was just trying to get on camera here these whales, just see, just period, whatever we could get. Deborah, do you need to go down through there and look for like where you might have, gotten out of structure or anything? I think you got a lot of good information.
Yeah, I think I was really tuned into a couple of the people and kind of maybe very concerned. I mean, when I go through here, I can find, like, I had the word abyss, or a guy kind of reminding me of a pirate. So I think I might have been kind of getting off a little bit with my AOL. But it's probably not as bad as I think. It's just I like to have my sessions just tighter, where it's easier to see that most of the stuff applies. And so this was okay, but I'm not thrilled with it. I'm just kind of extra hard on myself. I really wanted to perfect my techniques here.
I was just looking to see, okay, feedback or on the front loading, because you asked for front loading.
Yeah.
So you can practice. And by the way, you had a preview of coming attractions, kind of stuck on a forever former target of an explosion. And you set that aside. Okay. But then, let's see, I think the feedback was the target was an event. And, oh darn it, I hate this thing. I try to scroll with it. You have to use this bar. You can't use the mouse. So you had motion and biological, all the things that you might possibly see with an event. Have you worked with front loading much?
Not too much.
I was going to say, now's a prime time to talk to Lynn about it if you had any questions hiding out.
Yeah, I guess is there any particular way to work with it?
Yeah, the front loading is quite a bit like if you watch Wheel of Fortune, they'll say the puzzle this time is person or something like that. And, that only narrows it down to billions of people who have lived and are living now. And it's the same with the front loading and remote viewing, that it doesn't tell you anything about the target. It just tells you what aspects to pay attention to and where to focus your work. So Teresa gives really good front loading because it's neutral. It doesn't tell you anything at all about the target itself. So, how many events in the world have ever happened or are happening right this minute? So it really doesn't tell you anything about the target. And that's front loading. If it tells you something about the target, that's not front loading, that's pollution.
So how would you distinguish between if you're told the target's an event or the target's an activity?
There's not really much of a difference. It's just activity is just sort of something you do on an everyday basis or something like that, and activity carries with it the idea of timeline, whereas an event seems to say, okay, this is one moment you can go to and describe the activity at that moment.
Okay.
And you said you were upset a little bit because you would have, or disappointed, you kind of like to tighten up your session. And front loading, can help you do that.
Yeah.
So to cut right to the chase, find out what the information is that's actually wanted without that pollution, so your session is hopefully shorter, and you don't explore the whole park. You get right to whatever is in the park that you're supposed to find. And just for the heck of it, your session kind of interested me. You said something about headgear. I wondered about whales and eyelids and didn't get a chance to look it up. And it says, most of the stuff I Googled really fast here, get a plug-in for Google. Whales are mammals, and they share most of the fundamental features common to all mammals, including eyelids. However, their eyelids are different. Their eyelids need to be heavy-duty to protect them in the harsh ocean environment. They also have tears which work all the time. They're really thick and gooey tears. So anyway, as you look at your perceptions, I don't know if any of that, would be something that you picked up on.
Yeah, it's very possible that, well, I was aware that I was assuming that these were men from the start, and I had even thought a couple of times, should I just be assuming that my biologicals are men? So I think I was a little lazy with that. I just made that assumption.
Teresa, could you turn your sound down just a little bit where you can still hear it, but it won't echo?
Sure. Alrighty. I do have a tendency to turn it up when we're not doing this. Is that any better?
We'll try it and see.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I sort of was investigating whale eyelids for a second there. Do you need to go down through your session and look at things, Deborah?
No, I'm good. You could go to someone else's.
Okay. And let's see. Oh, there's Janine. Just checking to see who's here and might be making comments. All right. There we go. Get everybody up where we can see him. Here's David Beatty's session. I know he's not here right now, but I just wanted to, I actually had a chance to make a couple comments on his, because way down at the bottom, I think they're all down. In his summary, man-made, natural, and smell. And I looked up whales, and supposedly whales, evidently, if you're close to them, will pretty much about knock your nose right out of the water. That was a really bad pun. Anyway, evidently whales are very odoriferous for various reasons.
They bathe pretty often.
What?
They bathe pretty often.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of stuff that supposedly makes them smelly. Yeah. So various things. And but anyway, I didn't get a chance to research the texture of their skin, because David was picking up on that, I think. And I know shark skin, I think, is very rough. Like if you rub your hand on it, I think it might even cut, but I can't swear to that.
It's kind of sandpapery, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Where dolphins, I don't think so. I think dolphins are smooth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all those people hugging them would have abrasions. But now, David, in his description, let's see, did he actually get biologicals, or he got natural, man-made natural? He is really picking up on something. We've got the man-made, and it's got different levels and colors, but something is getting his attention that's bulb-like, naked, illuminated, and several in a line toward me. I was trying to figure out what kind of whales those were because they had white areas below the bulb light. And so I was wondering, some bulbs are actually, I even looked up bulbs just to see from, you know, a perspective of description-wise. There's so many different types of bulbs just to see if the whale shape might be like bulbous. And some bulbs it is. But anyway, then there was a term that was unfamiliar to me, a diorama, which is one of those little lit-up scenes like a 3D picture. I don't know if they even make those anymore. But anyway, that's what he said that this reminded him. The place seemed to remind him of that, like a scene, like a 3D scene. And he got land. So I don't know if for him the boat seemed like land or what. But then, let's see. Then I think there's one more page of summary here. Which smell, which concession and buttery. I don't know if somebody on the boat's got popcorn or if we've got a lot of fatty, buttery stuff with the whale oil, but anyway, heavy, unhealthy, and it's pretty smelly. So, like I looked up whales, and they seem to be sort of smelly creatures. So, anyway, that is David's session, and he's not here. But while you were here, Deborah, I just wanted to, I did have a little feedback there.
Yeah.
And I just did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo there and clicked on Jed. Thought I did. There we go. And so Russ will be last, not for any particular reason. Jed, your mic is queued, so if you need to offer up some conversation, go ahead. I didn't get much of a chance to look at your session before. I just got home from work and needed to go outside with my neighbor. A little piece of siding was loose after the storms here, and so I didn't get much of a chance to do anything at home before we got together tonight. So, go ahead if you want to comment on your session.
I got stuck up, or I got focused on my, what page was it? Immediately when I went into my P4 on page 5, the word murder came up, and for some reason, I think that polluted the rest of my session. My summary doesn't reflect that until the very end where I say a horrible event on other things I found at the site. But I had a hard time just getting myself disengaged with that. Murder kept coming up throughout my session, and I do not know why, other than I just got too, I don't know, too hooked on that word that it appeared so quick into the session.
Well, usually these days when you read about whales, you're reading about these big ships that are out there just murdering the whales right and left without any consideration at all for, you know, maintaining their numbers or anything. They find a whale, they kill it.
I sort of wondered that same thing, because he does get hooked on it. It just, that and Jed and I've been talking, Lynn, he just is really stuck on rubbery. When he gets biologicals, not just this target, rubbery, over and over and over. And so, you know, is there anything we can do if he kind of like on this little stuffed plateau with rubbery?
I doubt it.
Eventually he'll move past it, or?
I doubt it. I would imagine it's his subconscious mind trying to establish a dependable language with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know.
Yeah, I thought in this case, whales are rubbery.
Yeah.
But he and I had just had this conversation. Every time he gets a biological, he always gets rubbery, over and over and over.
Well, it's like Colleen was saying, anytime she's dealing with a biological, and all of a sudden she gets an image of 4 giraffe legs, you know, extending up out of the picture and down out of the picture, just the legs itself. That's her subconscious mind's way of saying, this is an animal, not a human. Why it has picked giraffe legs, she has no idea, but, you know, you're dealing with the subconscious.
So that phrase would actually turn up in her sessions?
Oh, yeah, that visual. And it could be, like on this one, you have a biological, and all of a sudden it comes up rubbery. Maybe that's telling you generically, this is animal, not human. That could be. Your subconscious mind has strange ways of setting up this language it's going to use to talk to you. And you just, it's a process of learning to know thyself.
Yeah, and I think if I would hear Jed got car and he thinks he's jumped to the biological, and he's got described motion, just scrolling down through, and now getting perceptions of 9/11. You know, as far as I can tell, these guys are whale watching, not whale shooting. But David, I think in his session, didn't pick up any vehicles at all. Nothing.
Well, there is a vehicle there.
Yeah. But he even says it's quiet and there are no vehicles here. And I noticed that the motor or the engines have smoke coming out of them. So I know they're at least idling.
Yeah.
So I kind of was wondering if he had jumped target, but considering that he's got the smelly and all that other stuff. I'm looking in the summary. Aspects of biological, man-made motion, and location. Well, location isn't a gestalt. Just for the heck of saying that, Jed. But yeah, you've got some location aspects. I'm looking at this, and okay, now if we were to retask Jed, just for the heck of talking retasking, you retask from the summary or from sketches, and so we could look at Jed's summary and see if there's something else we would like, something that we would like to learn more about.
Just from what's on the screen, I would want to know more about helpful and heroic.
Then we've got man-made number 1, being helpful with ulterior motive, a ploy. And the second biological is charming and lazy. Doesn't want to do something. Harsh argument is suddenly silenced and is quiet.
Yes. I had such a problem with murder keep coming up throughout that it drove my summary too, which shows up in the very last part of other things down there. and I should have never put horrible event. But that probably was my own fault in that I was back looking at some of my stray cats with murder in that, and kind of unfortunately let my analytical mind write that.
One thing, and this is pollution, okay? It's blatant pollution here. But one thing about it is that neither Teresa nor I are going to give you a target that's blood and guts or, you know, negative emotion and all that. And other people out there will task you with all kinds of stuff, even your own death. But when you're working either one of my targets or one of Teresa's targets, you can depend on no blood and guts, no murder and mayhem, no horror, anything like that.
That's good to know.
And you know, we all read the headlines from time to time. Whether you want to or not, you're exposed to it in the checkout line at the grocery, or if you tune into the nightly news or turn on your computer and there's your home page. But, you know, you have, and I'm not waffling, but you have to consider there's an awful lot of people on this boat, and you just never know what anybody's been up to. And so, you know, like you said, the viewing in regards to the target, you know, that's why you're here. But I don't necessarily rule anything in, but I always consider that there could be things going on the sidelines. You know, just like going to a basketball game, there's always stuff going on the sidelines.
Yeah.
During the event. So.
And also, when we pick targets, you know, what if somebody's afraid of the water?
Yeah.
Well, for us, this is not a, you know, a terrible target, but for them it might be. And, you know, you got a tightrope walker. Well, what if somebody doing the session is afraid of heights or something? So we do the best we can.
Deborah has the best story that she's told, I think, on the Stargate list and in here about her student with strawberries. Deborah, you want to tell us about that, just to dovetail into what Lynn just said? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just think it's a great story. And then again, maybe she stepped away. But in a nutshell, she had this really great target that was a beautiful bowl of strawberries, or had that in the picture, and her student was giving all this negative, yuck, tooey, oh, not good kind of stuff. And it turned out the student was allergic to strawberries.
Yeah, and that was very interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was a great learning experience for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully your student didn't get too, you know, anxious about it. But
yeah, you just never know how someone's going to react.
Okay, and then let's see, let's get Russ's session up. And no sketch from you. Russ, did you send me a sketch? I know you'll type it in if you did, because this two addresses thing is just still killing me here. I don't think I got a sketch from you, but I was thinking I did get 2 emails from you about your target. So anyway, you, let's see. Russ, if you want to type anything in, I'm watching. I saw a little note from you when we first started that you were stuck on Loch Ness Monster or something here. Yep, he's saying. I'm reading.
This is the, okay, where he says ideogram 3, 2, and 1. Is this a description of the line of the diagram of the ideogram, or is this in his summary what he got for ideogram 3.
Russ, I see your statement. Yeah, woman at the top of stair rail, and I do think there is a woman on top of that, on the second level of that boat. Lynn's asking you, is your ideogram 3, ideogram 2, and 1, are you telling us your like over, up, curve, down, around your description of your ideogram? And he says yes. Got
Okay.
three fast ideograms, and so
Okay.
yes.
It's very important to remember that the ideogram is a gestalt and not the target. I recently had a conversation with the guy who's writing a book about remote viewing, and basically in this you start out in stage 1 with just gestalts. So the, ideogram 1 has a structuriness at the target, but the ideogram itself is squarish, horizontal, has a broad sag, and so on. And so, as you work through it, then you go from the gestalt into vague details in phase 2, into a sketch in phase 3, into greater details in phase 4, into measurements in phase 6, and at some point along the way, you start getting what's called revelations, where, it's the thing that a painter will all of a sudden know exactly the master painting that he wants to paint, or the musician will all of a sudden know the fantastic piece of music that he wants to write and all that. But it's very important in remote viewing that you start with the ideogram knowing that that's not the target, it's the gestalt of the target. That's why I was asking whether you're describing the target here or describing the ideogram.
It's got landiness with lots of ledgy, overlapped, crisscrossed, bridged, grassy, under roof, overpassed, mountainous, wood
I'm noticing that there's a theme that three of us had some kind of conflict or fighting or murder, but I had fighting, and I see that there's conflict here.
You're right. 3 of you picked up on that. I just looked it over, and it really looks like a bunch of people just watching. I don't see anything that indicates punchers or weapons. Just for the heck of it.
Seems draining, forceful, or combating.
Back to the murderers thing, and this is strictly straight AOL on my part, not the target. I would not put it past the whale killer boats.
Out really bad.
I would not put it past the people on the whale killing boats to put somebody on one of these tourist boats just to spot the pods of whales.
Yeah, I hear you.
But that's not the target. That's just my suspicious nature.
Analytic nature. And by the way, it's got grassy. Russ got grassy and mossy. The undersides of boats are usually kind of slimy, mossy, and could be thought of as grassy if you were describing it. Also, a lot of boats have artificial turf that you walk on. This is good under roof, overpassed, crisscross and bridge, and the wateriness has got both sweating and saltiness, and I'm not so sure about the ice, but because they look like they're wearing shorts. So and transportation. Bios are sweating and barking. I didn't see any dogs, but whales make noises. People kind of get barky if they're yelling at each other. Depends on what is your gut reaction, what is your gut feeling or meaning of barking. What were you saying, Lynn? I'm so sorry.
We're getting awfully close to making up stuff here.
Hey, seals bark.
But whales don't.
You bark orders if you're a sergeant.
Well, we're getting awfully close to waffling here.
I hear you. Here we go. Sketching dog-like forms. Oh, Sherlock Holmes. Back to figuring out the murder.
Now that, one is caked like Sherlock Holmes, seemingly. That central whale. I mean, that looks like, here again we're getting awfully close to waffling, but that looks like one of those coats that Sherlock Holmes would wear back in jolly old England.
Like Wayne's?
The shape of it.
Like a Wayne's coat?
I guess that's what you call it, I don't know. Let's see how it looks.
I'm seeing her life jacket.
That's me getting close to waffling here.
Oh, the life jacket.
Sorry, all I'm seeing are life jackets. But
I'm talking about the whale.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see what you're saying. I got it.
See how it looks like the downed rain collar and on the black coat? Well,
heaven forbid we should try and figure anything out, and have some fun while we're here.
Yeah, I know. There's a very thin line between figuring possibilities and waffling. And it's very easy to cross that line without knowing it, and the fact is, it's not a definite line. So when you're thinking the possibilities, that's one thing, but when you're making excuses for the person to make them look right, that's waffling. And the thing is, when we say that this thing looks like one of the old coats that they would wear in jolly old England in the pea-soup fog, where is the line between saying he's possibly right and he is right? So, yeah, it's a very thin line, and everybody crosses it. There's no way to not cross it. Yeah.
Russ did say in his message over here, I rejected my whole word here lots of times.
And
I noticed, in his session 2, he's got something about smoke, and like in 2 places with coming up between the arches. So we've got a whale blowing, and we have smoke from these engines. And, I skipped over this session from this piece from David. He got, let's see, he actually got, did he put it in his summary? Cane-like, it was like a cane, and it, how a whale arches when it comes up and then dives again. And I thought, there we go. Object gray rising, bent over, cane-like, flat-ended, higher than me. So anyway, I don't know about a sketch on page 5 without us going to page 5 right now. But that made me think of the whale when it was, and there he's got smelly.
That's an excellent. That's an excellent description of the shape.
Smells are unhealthy. Well, that's what they seem to think. Trying to get WebEx to match up with his session numbers. But anyway, that is everybody's session. Oh, Russ has got gassy. Yeah. And their breath seems to be... Oh, there's little dog barking.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm going to mute my microphone.
Oh, you're fine. But now here, David got bad boys. You know, so he's picking up this little mayhem stuff too. So whatever.
Teresa, where did you get this photo from?
I think a site called Dreams Time. You have to buy them. I collected a whole bunch of them for a project I did last year. So I was fairly serious about it. So anyhow, that is pretty much it. Anybody else have anything they'd like to comment on, bring up, problems, questions? Marco, are you sleeping out there? I wish I could do this at a time that was better for you. Somehow my employer would not be thrilled. I'm not supposed to talk about work. I didn't say that. Never mind. Just to bring up, we're going to have some tutorials coming up on how to score your session and how to write a summary, like next week and 2 weeks after that. And our targets that are up for one is a retasking opportunity, and one is more of a project for somebody that everybody who sends in a session will be included. And we'll be able to talk about that, kind of wrap the discussion around what it's like to contribute to a project. And other than that, I don't have anything new or exciting, I don't think, to bring up. My class stuff is coming along. I'm, trying to get it lined up so we can get a target certification course going, so, people don't, so what makes a good target. And I actually worked on that last evening, and also the registry, which I have some hopes of getting started across the community, which gives everybody the chance to turn in sessions, record their stats. Project managers would have a centralized place to come and look for viewers and give us some current feedback on what viewers today are doing insofar as session results and training and practice. So all that's in my pipeline. I don't know, you guys want to bring up anything that's going on with you?
We're still trying to work on the online training courses. And it's taken more time than we had expected, but it's coming along. And we've got a new ISP that has a different operating system than Microsoft, so we're having to rewrite all of the code and everything. And I've got, I think, about 25 new target of the weeks to put up, but we're programming them according to the new server. And so as soon as we move over to the new server, all of a sudden there'll be a whole lot more targets every week.
Oh, everybody will appreciate that.
Yeah, those targets of the week are really a great resource for so many people. I know a lot of different remote viewing groups use them, and go to them, and I refer people to your site all the time. It's an incredible resource.
Well, good.
Lindy, you and Deborah both were at IRVA. Do you want to mention anything? We haven't really seen anything much on any of the discussion groups about IRVA this year.
Yeah, and it was a surprisingly good conference, too. I think it was better than a lot of them that we've had in the past. And God, you get old. Anyway, Deborah and Melvin gave a really good presentation. We had a good main speaker, and Russ got up and gave a really good one. There were a few speakers that talked about the history of the unit, you know, and the history of the military use of it, and most people are in agreement that that's really been done to death. So I got a critique from one person who said we need more training, more how-to lectures and all that, which of course is, you know, when I was holding the CRV conference, the PSI conference, we would pick one subject and it was a total training session for 3 days. I think they're sort of in agreement that they're not going to be doing that at IRVA, that it's not going to be for teaching, it's going to be for a wider spectrum, since, you know, teaching on any subject in remote viewing takes more than 1 hour. You're not going to learn remote viewing in 1 hour. So I think the board is pretty much in agreement that teaching is not going to be done at the conference, but will be done beforehand and afterwards by the individual trainers. Other than that, it was a really good conference. It was well attended. They're trying to decide now whether we're going to start having a conference every year or every other year, simply because the finances are so horrible for everybody. But anyway, the board will come out with all that information.
Deborah, did you lose audio? Said you can't hear us anymore. I haven't been speaking. Lynn has been.
Yeah, he kind of goes in and out.
So you think that... Oh, go ahead, Deborah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I could say I'm going to have to run, though.
Yeah, well, I think we're wrapping up here, actually.
Okay.
So thank you for
so
coming.
much.
Thanks for sending in a session.
Sure. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Night. Have a good class.
Good night.
And so Russ is saying 2 engines, 2 smokers. Yep, I think you picked up on that. You're thinking that IRVA might be every other year now, Lynn?
We don't know. We're looking at the finances now.
You have to admit, it's hard.
Very, yeah, and it's hard for people who are coming, you know, because the cost of the conference is just, half or less than half of the total cost to the person.
Yeah. Well, folks, I don't think I have anything else to offer up for the evening. It's the last call. Oh, Marco's got his hand up. Let me take off the mic, or mute. Yes, sir, Marco.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
It's not echoing. Okay. Hello there. I didn't do my session, so sorry. But I have one question. from the, Lynch's book, The Seven Sins, that he was speaking about some stone, that you can view the stone, and it's some kind of story. I didn't understand it very well.
Okay, there was a period of time when we were tasked with finding protection from remote viewing because we never have found any. And they knew the Russians were doing the psychic spying, and they wanted protection from it, so we started working on that. We found a way to protect from remote viewing, and we tried one method and protected a location, tried another method and protected a person, and tried another method and protected an object. Well, the object that we protected is called the Story Stone. And when you start trying to view the Story Stone, it's very easy to view the Story Stone as an object. I've seen people sketch the inscription type thing that's on it and everything else. That part's very easy, but when you go into the history of the Story Stone and try to get anything behind it, that's when you start running into all kinds of protection. And the protection is in many different layers. The first layer is that you just stop getting anything, and that'll make most people stop. Those who plow on will start getting giggles. They'll just start, they'll say red, ha 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 ha, and every impression they get causes them to start laughing. Most of those who have gotten that far will drop out. If you keep going and going and going through all the different layers, finally you get to the layer where you start having a wonderful session. I mean, the information flows, there's no problem with the session, and you just feel like you're having a wonderful session, and really you are. The problem is that the information you're getting is not about the history of the stone. It's a story, and you get so wrapped up in the story that you forget about the history of the stone, and you don't, so you never get to the target. And this layer lures you away from the target by getting you interested in a story, and then it sits there and tells you a story. And I have heard that there is a guy in France who is making his living as a short story writer, or, part-time, full-time, I don't know, making a good amount of money as a short story writer simply by remote viewing the Story Stone, because it tells you a different story every single time. And yet you feel like you're having a really, really good session. You're just having a good session on the wrong target.
Am I on right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really mind-boggling. Can everybody try this target?
Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, I think that in the Seventh Sense, if they left it in, they cut 150 pages out of the Seventh Sense. But I think they may have left in the picture of the Story Stone. So you can either do a session and get the Story Stone physically, or look at that picture and anchor to it and try to get the history of the Story Stone.
So the history is the enigma.
That's right. And the person who is protected, I volunteered to be the guinea pig, And you can, you know, every now and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to be at an event, describe the event and all that, and people will describe me, how I'm dressed and what I'm doing at this event and everything else, and I'll give that as a target. But the part of me that is protected is the classified information that I've been exposed to. And on that, if you start trying to view the classified information that I've been privy to, your joints will start hurting, you'll become very confused, and it stays for days and days and days that you have a hard time moving without being in severe pain. You're confused, you're extremely forgetful, and so it basically turns around and attacks you physically and mentally. The location that we protected, we found a way to simply, anytime you try to access that location, going on the idea of the matrix, we just put a reflector type thing in the matrix, and anytime you go for that description of that location, you'll always describe another location.
Well, it sounds very interesting. I think I'd rather try the story stone.
Yeah, and you know, on all of them, you're not going to break this protection, and so on all of them, it's just as beneficial to you to just take a practice target. You know, it's as much practice and exercise and experience to just take a target of the week or something like that.
Yeah. It's just, you know, just a curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah, try the story stone. It's very interesting.
Okay. But this stone actually exists there.
Oh yeah, it's in my cabinet here. I think you've already seen it. It's a white round top stone.
I see. And you didn't make it?
I'm sorry?
You didn't make it?
Oh, no. No.
Okay. I also have one question as we are here around the table. To ask how.
Wait a minute. Let me correct what I just said.
Okay.
If you want to know whether I made it or not, remote view it and find out its history.
Well, that's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually wanted to ask, because we're around here talking, how is it going with the avians exercise?
With I'm sorry.
With the avians exercise. Just other people as well, because I'm still in the level 1.
Oh, of the ambience, yeah.
Yeah. And it is just gives me so much pleasure when I do remember being doing this technique as the way you describe.
Yeah.
Just gives me so much pleasure to become just alive again, or taking notice.
Yeah. I keep telling everyone that of everything you learn in all of the remote viewing courses, the ambiance exercise is the most important thing that we have to teach, and it's the most important thing for you to learn. And by all means, even if you never practice, never do any practice targets, or never do any ideogram drills or anything, that ambiance exercise is the most important thing you can do, because it can actually get you to where you can know things without doing the remote viewing.
Just, I don't know, there is no medicine.
Excuse me, I'm going to mute for a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk though. I can hear you.
Okay, I mean, there's like no medicine against this forgetfulness. Not using this technique, not always, but as much as you can do.
Do you mean for the accessing?
Yeah, for the just keeping yourself just doing this exercise.
The ambiance.
Yeah. I mean, what do I have to do to do this always? I mean,
you just have to get into the habit.
Yeah.
It's more than remembering to do it. It's forming the habit to do it. And once you form the habit to do it, you'll do it whether you remember it or not.
I agree.
What some people have done is they've put little post-it notes, little stickers on each doorway saying, remember to notice the change in ambiance when you walk through this door.
Yeah. There's okay. I wanted to also ask one question about because I'm still a basic level student, and in the basic, I think in the basic manual, there was not so much information about time commands. Is it still okay for me to take this, using this kind of commands or cues, like move, later part of the day or next day or whatever?
Okay, I'm having a very hard time hearing you and understanding. I'm sorry.
Okay, is there some kind of special training I should take for taking more time commands or cues, like time cues?
Oh, for time cues?
Yeah.
No, just just in a session, just cue yourself with what happened before this, what happened after this, and so on. And when you find somebody running or something like that, say, oh, why? And what's causing this person? What caused this person to be running? And curiosity is the biggest aid that you will ever get to remote viewing.
Because I just remember, just going to your website, where you have a small, short information about different courses. Then for the medium, there was like the student learns more about time commands and everything.
Yeah.
So, I was just thinking, is there more to this stuff?
No, actually, it's really very simple. When you find somebody doing something and you say why, well, you can say why and get the purpose for doing it, or you can say why, meaning what led up to them doing this. I mean, what is it in the past that caused them to do this? And so, doing it that way, you will just automatically start thinking in terms of cause and effect, time, past, present, future. Okay, they're doing this. What's that going to lead to? And, if they do this, then what's going to result from it? And things like that. Yeah, see, this is one of the problems in teaching remote viewing and you know, it's especially bad if you're just reading a book or something about how to remote view, is that we can teach you the tools, and we can even teach you how to use the tools and in what instances to use them, but we can't make you curious. That's something you either have or you don't have, and you can learn to have it, but if you can't get, there's the story stone, picture of the story stone. If you don't have, if you can't get curious about a target, then even if you're remote viewing perfectly and you get 100% right, you're still not going to really get anything interesting about it, simply because you didn't get curious. You didn't want to find out more.
Okay. I was actually thinking there's maybe a good idea to have this kind of just couple of like 10 guidelines. What makes you really good?
Yeah.
And a good viewer, okay, curiosity.
Well, this is one of the reasons why in doing the target of the week, I always try to get something that's going to be of interest. I mean, you know, a vase sitting on a shelf, that's a perfectly good remote viewing target, but who cares? You know, but you know, you get target like whale watching. Now that's interest, and you know, you want to find out more. You say, okay, what are those people feeling? I mean, they're wearing their life vest in case the boat sinks, but what's it like? Are they getting spray in their face? Are they smelling the exhaust of the motor? And there's just so much in this target that you could never describe at all. But the more curious you get about it, the more information you're going to get. And if you can place yourself mentally on that boat, you're going to actually have the experience of whale watching.
Yeah. That's amazing. I want to ask just a question about, because you learned, I think you learned some psychology back in the school days, that, about, the habits. That I think I heard some time ago that basically these habits are like automatic programs. Yeah. So it takes maybe 40. I just heard 41 days to break a new habit or something. So with this kind of aviance exercise, I just do this program to do it 41 days every day. Like a project.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you have a definite place to remote view, this is why we say at the beginning, don't put down the city you're in for the location. Put down kitchen table, something like that, and that will tell you where you work best. And then get into the habit of doing your sessions there. And one of the things you find is that the minute you go there and lay your pen and paper on the table, you're already remote viewing, because your subconscious mind knows that this is my remote viewing place. We remote view here.
How important is it to have the viewing room like neutral?
Well, in the beginning, when you're learning to remote view, it's very important to have that one place where you say, okay, I'm here, I remote view. And you learn to, to switch out of everyday mode into remote viewing mode. However, you don't want that to become the only place you can remote view. And so after you get more experienced at remote viewing, that's when you say, okay, now that I know how to remote view, and now that I know how to turn my mind into remote viewing mode, I'm going to try it somewhere else, and then you break out of that habit so that you can remote view anywhere you want. But in the beginning, when you're learning, setting up a remote viewing place is very, very beneficial to learning to remote view.
I just had a quick thought about, you know, there's like 5 different brain frequencies. You know, do you know if you go really doing this remote viewing work, is it still beta, you know, frequency?
I kind of think that when you get into the remote viewing mode, you tend more toward the theta brainwave frequency. Now, we have shown that you can that an experienced remote viewer can even remote view while in beta or gamma. I mean, extremely high active remote viewing frequencies. About the only one you can't remote view in is delta, which is comatose. But they're finding now, I was talking to the psychologist for the troops over in Afghanistan. I was talking to him the day before yesterday, and he said that they're finding that you can even do that in theta, which is basically comatose.
Okay, I'll try to remember this. I see this picture. It's you know, the stone. So, you know, how big is the stone?
It's about I would say it's about 3 inches high. Now, it's on a wooden base that's about 1.5 inches tall.
So it's maybe 10 centimeters.
I'm sorry?
It's maybe 10 centimeters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So like 1 finger or something. That's very interesting.
Teresa, my book is on Kindle.
Sorry, I muted me, and I just enlarged my screen so that the Story Stone is bigger. Oops, and then I moved it. Holy cow!
I didn't know the book was on Kindle.
Well, let's just go take a look. Now I need to make it smaller again.
I have it on Kindle.
Well, I wonder if anybody's going to be nice enough to pay me royalties for that. The company. I don't think they are. But good, that makes it available to more people.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to put Gravity Can Be Your Friend on the Kindle, thinking that that would be a good way to get it, you know, around, but I don't know how to do that, and it's going to take stopping and learning something for a while, so God forbid that I should ever quit answering email.
All right, everybody. Well, I hate to say this, but I have some things I need to do. And we've been here an hour and a half. And I think it's been a fairly worthwhile evening, I hope.
Okay. Judd is asking, are we still on for Monday?
I am.
What happened Monday?
Jed and I are going to meet with Lynn here and do an interview. So no, it's not a class, Marco. You're good.
Okay.
Jed, is your computer functioning? Evidently, you're here tonight, so all is well. Jed? Okay, good. All right, looks like we're on for Monday. All right, folks. Well, I think we probably should wrap it up, and we are doing the tutorial next week. And so it won't be a target discussion, but it will be a little class if you want to sign up if you haven't. And we will see you then.
So this is after 2 weeks.
What?
Is this after 2 weeks, the tutorial?
The tutorial?
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I'm not sure which one we're doing. We have both summary writing and how to score your session with confidence.
But
So I think it might be session scoring, but I'm not for sure.
But then we will meet after 2 weeks.
But then we will what?
We will meet after 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks to do another target. Yep.
In 2 weeks.
The next target, the next time we'll have a retasking opportunity if you get your session to me soon enough.
Yeah.
And Janine says that next week we're going to discuss session scoring. Thank you. Hopefully, I'll have a little PowerPoint made up by then. That's the goal.
Teresa, can you be so nice and also post the download link for this meeting?
When you register, the coordinates are in the subject heading. Is that you're cutting out, Marco? Is that what you asked me, or did you ask for front loading?
No, I mean, can you just post the link for this recording?
Oh,
in the website?
Yeah.
No, I mean in the email list.
Yeah, I have not had enough time to, as Lynn said, learn something new. I have exceeded my storage space on WebEx quite some time ago, and I am still trying to get those available to everybody. I'm going to have to I've generated a YouTube account now, something more and new, and all of them, you're going to have to get to them through Aesthetic Impact and go to a YouTube channel. But anyway, the newest ones, the last 4 or 5, are on WebEx again until I fill up the storage space. Because when I fill up the free, then of course they start to charge me money. So anyway, long story is I'm still apologizing for the old sessions not being available. It's going to take some hours worth of uploading once I get to that learning curve. And the new ones, I will try and be more diligent about getting the links out.
So you put them to YouTube, eh?
Yeah, they will be on YouTube.
That's nice.
Yeah, whatever that means. Somebody created a channel for me and started uploading, and it was taking much longer than even they thought. So I put out a cease and desist order and said, I will do this myself. I can't afford to pay you to upload videos for me, and I am so sorry. I just spent $10,000 last year to advertise these videos, and they are not available to the public, and no, I am not happy. So, but they will be. I just have to have enough hours in my day.
Yeah. I hope you can do it sometime.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Thanks.
Sorry for the inconvenience for everybody.
No, it's okay.
All right, well, good night, everybody. I'm afraid I do have to go wrap some things up, and knowing Lynn, there's probably a whole lot of people waiting for him. So.
Yeah, I've got another conference tonight, too. Thank you for this.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care, you guys, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you then.
Okay. Night.
Bye-bye.